Good day everyone, today we're gonna carry on with our YouTube clone and we will begin with the main page today and to generate the thumbnails and the content and basically the main thing about YouTube. And yeah, so let's start with the code. Okay, so as you guys can see we have already created sidebar, second header, but we want to create the main page. So in here we want to create two files, which is gonna be MainPage page.jsx. We also want to create a SSS file here, which is also going to be MainPage but .sss, just like that. And in here we can type CFC or RFC depending on what type of snippet you have downloaded or installed. So just type tab here. And we also want to link this to the app.js file to display it, and we simply just import it. This is going to be import main page from components MainPage/MainPage, and we probably just want it to beneath all of these. I think that doesn't really matter what type of position it has, but we will have it beneath all of the other components in the app or program. So if we head over to our browser, we can see that MainPage is in fact displaying here as a text beneath the search bar, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, so we can collapse these because we don't need them. So in here we want to import the styling sheet, so we just type import, and this is going to be a string as well, which is going to be ./mainpage.css, just like that. Okay, so in here we can first of all remove this because we don't need the main page text here, and we want to create a class name here, and this is going to be equal to main page. And inside of here we want to create a div with a class name of video container. And inside of this div we will create an image with a source which is gonna be equal to thumbnail. Now all the thumbnails is gonna be exactly the same because I don't have multiple images. We also want to add alt here so we don't get a warning of some sort. So just like that. And this is obviously information you pull down from the API or the database, and we haven't really created one yet, so we are just gonna use some static images and stuff like that. So if we guys can see, we haven't downloaded thumbnail, so I'm just gonna go and do that. And also if we head over to our browser, we can see that thumbnail is not defined. So first of all, we have to download that. Now that file will in fact be in our GitHub repository that I will link down in the description and also in the comments below. So you guys can head over there and download it. But I'm just gonna go and download it, or actually go and get it myself. Okay, so now when we have that image here, we can see it looks like this. We will essentially import it. Now we also are in fact inside of two folders here, and this is inside two folders, so we are actually gonna have to import a quite big of an operation, but that's totally fine. So we just gonna type import thumbnail from, and this is gonna be ./ and ./ again. And as you guys can see, we can get to images, which is going to be /thumbnail and /thumbnail.jpg or JPEG. So if we go over to our browser now, we will see that this image is going to be huge. Yeah, it's quite big actually. But we're going to change that later in the styling. So when that's done, we want to create another div beneath this, which is gonna have a class name of video credentials, credentials, just like that. And inside of here we want to create, first of all, the video icon, or the channel icon actually, which is gonna be a class name of just channel icon, just like that. And we actually want to have this empty. Usually you should use an image, but we're just gonna use a gray circle for this because I don't have multiple channel images. That's fine. And we're also gonna have some credentials to this video as well. So we're essentially building the video box here. So we're gonna create a new div with a class name of credentials. And instead of here we want to create an h3 tag. Whoops. This is gonna have something like that. So in here we want to create an h3 tag, which is gonna be title. And this is obviously information you pull down from the database and API as well. So we will just go with the generic answer here, which is going to be title, channel name, and also a certain amount of use on one day, for example. Obviously this is not exactly like how YouTube display it, but you will get a feeling of it and understand it, and then you can essentially change it however you want. So we're gonna say 50k views and colon 1 day, just like that. And if we head over to our browser, this is still gonna look super bad, but that's totally fine. And it's obviously down here we have the video credentials, but that's fine. So now we have created that. It's actually quite simple. We are just gonna paste this. We're actually gonna do one thing more, and then we will multiply the videos or video containers. But we want to create a container that contains multiple videos, so we can essentially display them in a horizontal way. So we're gonna create a new div with a class name of videos, which is plural containers, or container. So this one is gonna make us able to display all the videos that we take down from the API in a horizontal way, or display it in a horizontal way, just like that. And inside of here we obviously want multiple videos, so I'm just gonna go with 3. I think I'm actually gonna go with a lot. Let's go with I think I should go with 6 probably. Let's go with 6 and see what happens. So we're gonna create 6 different of these containers here, and they are obviously gonna be inside of the videos container, not the main page. So we're gonna copy that and paste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Gonna save that, go to our browser right now, and as you guys can see we have multiple big images with multiple video credentials. That's fine. This is obviously not looking so good, but that is totally fine. And as you guys can see as well, the reason why we had transparent on the backgrounds for all these different divs here is because if you want to have a dark mode, you can essentially just change like text color and also the background color, and you will have a dark mode. So it's very easy to adjust as well, but we're not going to do that today. We are almost done with the main page here, or the layout for main page, but we want to add one more thing. And what you guys can do is essentially, I've already imported this icon here, but you want to import PI film reel from React icons. So if you do that, that's good. And beneath this, we can actually collapse all of these, or actually the videos container. So if you go up here and collapse this videos container, you will actually want to create another div below this with a class name of main header. And inside of here we want to actually use that icon we imported with some parameters, which is gonna have a size of 30. The color is gonna be red. And we can also add a self-closing tag here. And we also want to have a h2 tag, which is gonna have the name shorts. So you can have different sections inside of the main page, and that's exactly how YouTube does it. Now, I haven't created all the sections yet, but I will do that in a future video as well. So now if we go over to the styling sheet, we want to do some things here. We want to add a default styling to this page, and the margin is gonna be 0, and the box sizing is going to be border box. We also want to have overflow X is going to be, which is going to be hidden, just like that. The reason why we do this is because the div we have created, which is main-page, might have some default behaviors that we want to override. So that's the reason. But now we want to add the different behaviors to main-page. So it's going to be .main-page. And inside of here, we want to have position absolute. We also want to have a bottom, which is going to be 0. We want to have a right, which is going to be 0, so it's going to be to the bottom right of the right of the screen. We also want to have a width of 80%, and I might change this in the future because it's not proportional yet to the different components inside of the app or website, but that's fine. We also want to have 86% of height. I might also change that in the future. So if we go over to our browser right now, you will see that it has changed a bit. So first of all, the images and the different text we have done here is only inside of the main page, not on the entire screen. That's because we adjusted the size, and as you guys can see, the size is in fact correctly correlated to the width, or the width of the main page is correlating to the width of the sidebar, and that's fine. Or not entirely. We might change that actually. We have to change that, but that's totally fine. And you guys can see that this here is also pushing up this height here. So we will probably change that now actually. So if we go over to our VS Code here, I might change width to maybe 70%. Let's see how that looks. So that's a bit too much. Okay, so let's change that again to maybe 75 maybe. Nah, that's too much either. Okay, so we have 88. Let's change this to 80 maybe. Okay, so I think 85 might suffice. We will see if that is correct. Let's see, 85. Let's change that to 87. Let's change that to 88. If I do that, then we will... That might not work. Okay, I have to change that, but 88 is 5, so that's correct. But let's change the height to 80. Actually, change that to 80 and see what happens. That's fine. Okay, for some reason these guys... so if we go over to browser, for some reason this here is not looking too well, and also this here is not looking too well, and also this second header is not looking too well. Okay, but we will fix that later. So either way, inside of .main-page, we want to type .video video container. Or videos container actually, and inside of here we want to have the width is gonna be 100%. We also want the height to be 100%, and the margin here is gonna be 0.5 rem, so we have some space between the edges of the div, or the different divs. And display flex is in fact the thing we want, and we also want to have a flex direction of column, just like that. And we want to have align items start, so everything is gonna begin in the start. So if we go over to our browser right now, you guys can see that we still have to change some things here, but it's not looking too well. As you guys can see, this is just this is how one row looks like at the moment, but we will change that. Okay, so here now we want to have an image here. And yeah, by the way, height here is gonna be not 80, but 86. And yeah, that looks fine. Anyways, so and this is not gonna be column. I'm sorry, guys. This is gonna be row. Yeah, that looks better. It looks a bit weird already, but it's fine. We will fix that. So yeah, if we go over to our image here, or actually we don't want to do the image. We want to do .video container, not videos container, but video container. And this is gonna have a width of 350 pixels. This is also gonna have a height of 100%. And by the way, this height here is not gonna be 100%. This is gonna be 30 width height, just like that. And below this, we want to have a margin here. Actually, we're gonna have this here is gonna be center actually, and we want to have overflow hidden inside of videos container. This is gonna be display flex, and we want this margin here to be here. Now we want to have display flex, and I'm sorry guys if I confused you. And this is gonna be flex direction, and this is gonna be column, and we want to have align items start. Now, if we go over to our browser right now, this has drastically changed. So as you guys can see, we have our videos here, and they are stacked in the row axis, so to speak. That's great. Okay. So now here we want to change the image. So we're just gonna type image, and the width is gonna be 100%. We also want to have height of 70%. We want to have object fit, and this is gonna be cover. Border radius is going to be 1 rem, and margin bottom is going to be 0.5 rem. So if we go over to our browser right now, as you guys can see, we have created a lot of different thumbnails and also the credentials for them. Now we're gonna style the credentials because this is gonna be different, but that's totally fine. And we probably have made too many videos in this inside of this div. So if we go over here to our VS Code here and go over to MainPage and extend this and remove one of these divs, we will actually see a difference in the positioning of the different thumbnails. And as you guys can see, you might not notice, but the thumbnails themselves have become in fact wider, and it looks already better. So that's already good. Okay, so if we go over to our styling, and now we want to style the video credentials. So we type video dash credentials, and credentials, and I think I spelled that wrong, but that doesn't really matter. And the width is gonna be 100%. 100%. We also want to have height of max content. Now what max content does is essentially it calculates the maximum height the div needs to have for all its contents to fit inside of the div. So that's really useful. We also want to have a display, which is flex. We want to have a flex direction, direction of row. And we want to have align items center. And we want to have a padding of padding left actually. Left, and this is gonna be 4 rem. Save that, go to our browser. As you guys can see, it got a little bit more centered. We will fix that because the channel name is actually gonna be here, and the title and the views is gonna be displaying in a column here besides the channel name. So we will fix that as well. But pretty much so far so good. Okay, so I think that's all for the video's credential. Now I want to style the channel icon. So it's gonna be dot channel dash icon. And inside of here we want to have a width of 50 pixels. We want to have height of 50 pixels. We also want to have a border radius of 100%, which makes it a circle. And we also want to have a margin right, which is going to be 2 rem. Just like that. Okay, now that's done, we can go over to our browser, and nothing has changed actually. By the way, instead of this, we want to have a background color of gray. So now if we go over to our browser, as you guys can see, we have the channel icon here. Now, since we haven't created an API and a database to download data that we need, this is still gonna be gray. But say for example that you are connected to YouTube database and API and you have all the images for different channels depending on what type of video you have, then you can display that image inside of here. So that's really useful, and you might want to implement that, but that is a lot of coding to do, which you probably have a team to do. So we won't be doing that because it's quite difficult. If you have a lot of time on your hands, you might probably be able to pull it off, but we're not gonna do that. So now type .credentials, because we want to style the text. And inside of here we want to have a width, which is gonna be auto. So it's gonna automate the width, essentially calculate the width. The height is gonna be 100%, so it's 100% of this video credentials div. We want to have display flex here, so we display them in a flex box, and we also, and that should enable us to type align items center, which will center the text, and the flex direction is going to be column. And if we save that, go over to our browser, you guys can see that the channel icon is in fact to the left, and the credentials for the video is to the right, in a column way, so to speak. And that's exactly what we want. So yeah, the only thing we have to do now is essentially style the main header. The main header, if we go and check here, it's actually just inside main-page. So what we can do is collapse this whole videos container and go to and type .main.header. Now this is gonna have a width of 100%. We also want to have a height, which is gonna be max content. So it's the height of the content inside of the div. We want to have display flex. We want to have a flex direction of row. Obviously, you don't have to type this because this is the default setting, but I like to type it out so we just know what we have. We also want to have align items, items center, and we're gonna have a margin top as well, which is gonna be 3 rem. So if we go over to our browser, we can see that everything is in fact to the left, and that's exactly what we want. But we want to add a space between the text here and the icon. So that's exactly what we're gonna do, and this is probably the last thing you have to do for this video. So it's gonna be h2, and just say padding left, and this is gonna be 2 rem, just like that. So go over to your browser, and here we go. You have actually moved the text. Now you can also make this a bit better because this is too close to the side nav. So what you can do is go over to VS Code and just say here, for example, padding, and this is going to be 1 rem. And now it looks a lot better. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, please stay tuned because we're gonna upload more videos like this. I appreciate every minute you have stayed here. So thank you for watching and have a great night.